Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Walden, pastor at Cornerstone Ministries. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to share a short devotional video with you. I have three children. My wife and I have three children. In fact, we just celebrated our 31st year anniversary. Our kids are 29, 27, 25. And so wanted to speak to parents during this little short devo. Wanted to share some thoughts with you about raising your kids and about letting them grow up to be the people that God made them to be. And so having kind of gotten past the adolescent years with our kids, the teenage years, the early 20s, our kids are all married now and settled in, and we have a good, healthy family life by God's grace, and our kids attend church and serve in different capacities. We're very thankful for that, but for me and for my wife as well, we were pretty deliberate about some things and about our mindset in regard to raising our kids. So this isn't intended to kind of tell you how to do it right because we think we did it right. You know, God did a good work in our children, and yet there were some thoughts that we adopted and that I adopted and that I still think are worthy of your consideration. So let me share a verse with you, if I may. This is from the book of 3 John. It's verse 4. John was an elderly apostle, and the apostle of love was what he was called. And when he addressed the churches, he called them his children because he was like their spiritual dad. And so he says this in the book of 3 John, verse 4, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. And so every Christian parent wants their child to walk in the truths of God, to have a life with God, to love the Lord, to obey the Lord, to serve the Lord. And so every Christian parent, that's a deep desire of their heart, and a lot of us understand that. Having pastored for over 20 years now, I've seen a tendency among some parents, among some families, for parents, as much as they love their children, to be so forceful with them and so kind of deliberate with their kids that they never allow their children to have their own thoughts. They never allow their kids to ask maybe possibly frightening questions, to question anything about the Christian faith, to ask questions about why does the Bible say this and I don't understand, and what about other systems of belief and faith and that kind of thing. And I've seen it happen with some families where parents love their kids so much that they're fearful that when the kids get older, they'll depart from Christianity, and because of that fear, they're forceful with their kids and kind of controlling and kind of suffocating with their children. As a result of that, I have seen on an occasion kids, they hit 16, 17, 18 years old, they start pushing back really hard against mom and dad. They start pushing back really hard against church. They start pushing back really hard against the Christian faith, and they just take a radical departure from all things Christian. And I think sometimes it's just because they're just escaping perhaps what they felt was a suffocating situation at home. A lot of times those kids come back. For some of them, we're still waiting and praying. Having been in Napa 21 years now, we've seen kids grow up in the church, depart from the church, sometimes come back, others not. Like I said, we love those young adults, praying for those young adults. And yet I understand, I get that they would want to have their own thoughts and want to have their own life. And so my encouragement to parents, when our kids are little, they think we're wonderful, that we're their idols, they look up to us, we're their heroes. We raise them, we teach them about Jesus. As they hit those teenage years, eventually they're going to grow up and have their own life. That's the way God designed it to be. And so by nature, they're going to start questioning some things, or maybe disagreeing a little bit, or maybe not adopt mom and dad's political stance as mom and dad might think a political position might jive with a biblical position. Maybe the kids think something a little bit different. Parents, mom and dad, can I just encourage you? Let your kids work it out. Let your kids seek the Lord on their own. Let them discover their own faith. Let them find out who Jesus is to them. If we've planted the seeds, if we've built a foundation, we've done well. It has been said that, when our kids are little, we walk in front of them and we lead them. And then when they get to that age, young adulthood, we walk beside them. And from then on out, we're walking beside them. We're a parent, but we're also a friend. We're a mentor. We're a counselor. We share input, and sometimes we don't share input. But parents, I just want to encourage you, if your children are at that age, mid-teens or early 20s, and you feel like, hey, I'm worried about my son, I'm worried about my daughter, they don't seem to want to be at church anymore, and they're kind of questioning everything, and they don't, kind of, forgive the language, kind of fall in line like they have before. Hey, pray for your child. Have those conversations. Ask them what else they're thinking about. Let them ask the weird questions, the hard questions about other, faith systems and the things that people believe. Find out what they're thinking. Read the books that they're reading. Have a meaningful dialogue. Lead in discussion. Don't let anything be off limits. Let everything be put out on the table where mom and dad and son and daughter can talk about things, and love your kids. And if you disagree, you disagree, but love your kids. Let them discover who they are in Christ. By God's grace, they'll follow Jesus. And as John said in 3 John verse 4, I have no greater joy than to know that my kids walk in the truth. But mom and dad, it has to be the choice of your child. It has to be their walk, not your walk. It has to be their faith and not your faith. So I want to encourage you, parents, pray for your kids, love your kids. Do everything you can to support your kids. Are there going to be decisions they make that you disagree with? Absolutely. Can you get involved with everything they're involved with? Probably not. But keep that door wide open. Pray for them. Let them discover who God is in their life, and let them have their own faith. If they push back a little bit, don't be fearful. Commit them to the Lord. Keep the dialogue open. And live out Jesus in front of them. So, God bless you. Thanks for listening.